everyone, welcome back to Brooke's Bites. I'm Brooke Goff, and today we're going to talk about what Rob McElhenney from Always Sunny in Philadelphia and Bobby Flay, you know, the Bobby Flay, we all know who he is, and if you don't, probably not watching my baking segment anyways, have in common for baked goods. So I went to the American Century Golf Championship where both of them were celebrity guests and they played in the Pro-Am. But at the end of the day, we wrapped both the same. What is your baked good, your favorite one, your favorite cookie? And both of them said chocolate chip. Hands down chocolate chip, soft, kind of crispy on the outside, really nice soft center, salty chocolate chip. And I said, you haven't had mine. So Rob and Bobby Flay, if you both see this, send us your details and we will send you an awesome batch of what I am telling you, in the words of Charles Barkley, the best invention in the history of the world. It is my chocolate chip cookies. All right, so let's get started. So firstly, we start with always salted butter. So I attended at the Aspen Food and Wine Festival a few years ago. And Martha Stewart was there giving a segment and she had said, listen, anybody that doesn't use salted butter should just not bake. Why would you not use salted butter? I don't care if the recipe calls for salt. Why deprive a recipe, especially with chocolate, like a chocolate chip cookie, salted butter? So ever since I watched her do that, whenever a recipe calls for unsalted butter, I just take the un and I scratch it off and I always do salted butter. So you should do the same because salt really, really brings out the flavor of any chocolate in your cookies. Okay, so we have 2 sticks of it. We have my favorite Incarcerate mixer, which I always talk about, with my cookie paddles on. And I'm just gonna let this kind of go to town a little bit. Now, usually when you are doing butter in a mixer, you're creaming it with sugar. We're gonna do that too. I always like to give the butter a little head start. My personal preference, before I add the sugar in there and get it going, I like to give the butter just a little head start. So here we go. It's good enough. I'm going to add my brown sugar and I'm gonna add my white sugar. So we're gonna cream this butter. So this is gonna take 2 to 3 minutes. During this time, check out some of the interview I did with Rob and Bobby Flay. For people out there that have watched you and they have watched you for years, what major tips can you give them when it comes to, for instance, the most common question, which is a steak?
Keep it simple. I mean, and I truly mean that. A lot of people say that, but I think a lot of times people overcomplicate steaks. They start marinating them and they start pounding them to tenderize them and stuff like that. I mean, you don't need to do that. I mean, to me, like a great spice rub, and it could be simple ingredients. It can be like some paprika, some mustard powder, some coriander, maybe a little cayenne, some black pepper and salt. Very, very simple spice rub. Rub it on the steak, very hot grill. Make sure that the crust becomes part of the steak. It's almost like a crust. So the great thing about a spice rub is that it creates flavor and it also creates a crust on the outside. Flip it once, let it rest, slice it up, eat it. To me, that's the key.
What's your favorite cookie? Because that's the one I'm gonna bake, and then I'm gonna ask you a couple questions about it. Will be good.
I'm so boring because I'm gonna say chocolate chip, but I actually do mean it. But if you want to get adventurous, I would say I enjoy coconut. I don't know, what are they called? It's not a cookie. What is a coconut cookie called? There's like
the Almond Joy type cookies where you make them?
Yes,
those are pretty good.
I like
We got to keep them moist and people don't know how to do that.
Okay,
so
exactly right.
If you're chocolate chip though, go back to that, right? Crispy, soft in the middle.
I like crispy on the outside, soft in the middle.
So now I'm gonna take my 2 eggs, again, room temperature. I am brave, some of you may not be, but I will crack them right over. This is gonna add our moisture element. So a good cookie, guys, is all about the balance between dry ingredients and moist ingredients. So you have to understand what, and I'm gonna add a little vanilla too, you have to understand what each ingredient brings to the table, right? So white sugar is not gonna bring moisture. Butter does. Brown sugar does, that's molasses, right? Brown sugar is made of molasses. Your eggs do, and your vanilla does. So these are all moisture ingredients. So what you should expect to see is it going from a well-mixed recipe to almost like a whipped recipe. And you're really starting to see that if you take a look in here now, because you can see it really all kind of coming together. Now I am gonna scrape the sides down a little bit now. And the reason I'm gonna do that is because the dough is a little thicker for my cookies. So I want to make sure that all of it is getting that nice fluffy love. It almost looks like, honestly, when I'm done with it, it almost looks like marshmallow. So as you saw in the interviews, we talked about not just, it's one thing to just say, hey, what's your favorite cookie, right? Could have said that, but I didn't. I really wanted to know, what is it about the cookie that's so great? And of course, it's a nice, Bobby Flay, who obviously is one of the best chefs to ever walk the face of the earth, in my personal opinion. I've learned when I was new at baking and cooking and all these, I used to watch his stuff over and over on Food Network. And the best thing about it is he explains it in such an elementary level to people that it makes sense, and it allows you to have an understanding so that you can do your own thing, but still understand the fundamentals of what he's doing in the whys. What's your favorite baked good? Cookie, let's say cookie.
Definitely.
Nothing super fancy, okay?
Chocolate chip, man.
That's it?
And I want some brown sugar on the outside of it or something.
Have you had brown butter chocolate chip cookies?
Yes.
Delicious, right?
Because it gives it that nuttiness.
Are you doing vanilla ice cream and heated
Yeah, definitely.
cookie?
I think the world is separated between people who like vanilla-based ice creams and chocolate-based ice cream. I'm on the vanilla side.
Chocolate chip cookie?
Yeah.
Soft or crispy?
Soft in the middle, crispy on the edges.
So my cookies lend themselves to being soft, but the other reason why that is because I use softened butter. Room temperature softened butter. Not melted, not cold, room temperature softened butter. So now we have this whip that we want. So what I do is you have to take your dry ingredients. You have your all-purpose flour. I always recommend Bob's Red Mill. I use all their products. No, they don't send them to me for free. They should. No, they don't sponsor this. They should. They should reach out to us and contact us. But I'm using their baking soda. I'm using their baking powder. Not using their salt. I just don't know if they have one. But we're going to take those three with our ball whisk. And again, I got this at Sur La Table, but I'm sure you can get one on Amazon. And we're just going to mix this up. And notice how the stuff is not like jumping out. I'm mixing pretty hard here. And the stuff is not jumping out. That's because the ball whisk kind of centers everything to the center and it keeps it in the bowl, which is fantabulous. That's what we want. So now I'm going to turn down my mixer and I'm going to slowly add these dry ingredients in. Now, by the way, this is not a recipe that you would refrigerate the dough. Actually, do not. This makes, I'm telling you, these will be the best chocolate chip cookies you eat. Anybody that makes these should tag us. We do awesome giveaways we like to send swag to people that tag us. Forget the giveaways. We just like to send swag. If you're going to spend time watching my stuff and making my stuff, you deserve to have some of our high-end swag. We have, partnerships with Yeti, all kinds of things. So trust me when I tell you, you'll never know what shows up at your door from us. So follow us, make our stuff, tag us, and obviously we'll send you some stuff. So 2 cups of chocolate chips. Ghirardelli, always. I don't love Toll House, sorry. The Ghirardelli chocolate just comes through different. It's much more, it's almost like it tastes like it has salt in it. I think it just counteracts with the salt so well. And I just love it. I love them. They do taste completely different. And let me tell you, don't fool yourself. 2 cups is a lot. Never fold them in. I don't think it makes a difference. Bobby Flay might disagree if he's watching this. Sorry, Bobby, but to me it doesn't make a difference. Your typical home baker is not going to see a difference either. If there was a throwdown with Bobby Flay and chocolate chip cookies, we should go and do it, 100%. I think I would give you a run for your money. So now, just mixing this stuff all together here. It's a beautiful dough. Now this dough is going to be it's not sticky, a little greasy, I'll say, but a little not sticky. Super easy. Take a really great, obviously a cookie sheet. Now here's the thing. Your cookie sheet definitely controls, in my personal opinion, the quality of the cookie. So I use Heston, and I have these amazing, they're very expensive cookie sheets, but I'm telling you, they cook it right every time. Now, point of doing a chocolate chip cookie and what your goal should be is you want to bake it about 10 minutes. It's not going to look completely done. It's not going to be brown, but if you touch the top a little bit, it's not going to stick to your finger, but it's just done. That's how you want it. Pull those babies. Put them in the cookie sheet. Don't move them. Don't go get your spatula. Put the spatula away. No spatula. And put them in keep them on the cookie sheet and let them sit there for 7 minutes because the cookie sheet holds the heat. That's why you need a good one. And it's going to continue processing those cookies so that it makes them a little more done on the inside, but it's not actually cooking them. It's a beautiful thing. Then 7 to 10 minutes later, you can absolutely take them off, put them on a cooling rack, and let the kids all go crazy or family friends. During COVID, I was making cookies every day. I was bored out of my mind. My son and I would make them, and we delivered them to neighbors every day. My neighbors probably gained 10 pounds. As you'll see when you look at this, you have a perfect dough. From this dough right now, what you're gonna do is you're gonna take it, you're gonna start rolling, okay? Roll them. I never recommend using a spoon, as I always say. Just roll them with your hands, about that big or so, and get them in the oven, take them out, grab some of the ice cream, the real ice cream, the yellow one, right? The yellow vanilla, throw it on, put your accoutrements on it, and you have a perfect cookie sundae. Or if you just want a cookie, grab a glass of milk and have them. So here's the finished product. I stand behind this. I stand behind it. Bobby, I stand behind it. Rob, these are the best chocolate chip cookies you will ever eat. Send your details to our Insta or our TikTok or our Facebook, and I will happily send you your own package of chocolate chip cookies, and then you can tell me how it is. Guys, thanks for watching. More interviews to come. Keep a lookout.